We have the September 7th, 5:30 regular meeting for the Council of Governments to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on our agenda this evening is the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial and will be acted upon by the council at one time without discussion. Any council member, staff member, or interested party may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda for further discussion. Is there anyone from the council that would like to see an item pulled? Are there any interested parties? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I would move the consent agenda.
Do we have a second? Moved by Councilmember Immunities, seconded by Councilmember Catalano. All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved 5-0, 2 absent. Welcome.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry I'm late, I just got the call 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Super band. No, I didn't. Close.
I'm sorry. Our next agenda item is the public comment. Public comment is limited to 5 minutes per person. Comments shall be limited to items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council and not on the posted agenda. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 9. Item number 9 is the report out of closed session. A closed session was held on August 3rd, 2015, pursuant to the Government Code Section 54957.6, and direction was given. Item number 10, we have a minute order approving the changes to the Executive Director's compensation. Melissa Raggio is not here. The recommendation is an amendment to our Executive Director's compensation, allocating an additional 100 hours of vacation to be deposited annually thereafter on January 1st. This will be effective September 1, 2016. Any comment by the board? Any comment by the public? Do we have a motion to approve the minute order of item number 10?
So moved.
Moved by Council Member. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Council Member Fullendorf. Any further comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved 6 with 1 absent. Item number 11, resolution number 15, fiscal year 17-3, modifying the PTMI SEA allocation instructions previously approved in resolution 16-59 by 3800-1862 to correct county billing and reporting errors. This is to be presented by Melissa Raggio. Melissa Eads, do you want to take this?
Please. Thank you. If I might recommend taking items 11 and 12 at the same time. Item number 11 is a resolution adjusting our allocation instructions previously approved by $3,800 from our PTMI SEA fund. Though that dollar amount will be returned by the County Public Works Department, and COG will then offset that amount with a payment to the county in the same amount of Cal OES funding to correct a billing error that had previously been made. We also support the allocation of $11,115 in Cal OES funding for the bus stop lighting on the county government center. So with that, I would ask that the board consider both items 11 and 12 respectively, and if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I would move items 11 and 12.
Any further discussion? Any questions from the public?
It's 10 and 11.
No, it's items 11 and 12, resolutions fiscal year 17-3 and 17-4. Seeing no further discussion, we've got a motion to move.
Second?
Do we have a second?
Nobody seconded it.
Seconded by
I'll
Jeff.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 6-0. I asked for it.
Oh, we did? Okay, sorry. Sorry.
Well, we're cruising along here. County report. With whom does the county wish to report this evening? No county report.
John?
Transit report.
We are 7 weeks into the Saturday Hopper bus service. It goes every Saturday from Valley Springs through San Andreas, Angels Camp, and Murphy's. And it's getting moderate ridership so far. Expect the buses to fill in. We're coordinating with community events and helping to publicize community events, get people that are going to those in not just Murphy's, but Valley Springs has Oktoberfest coming up. And San Andreas this Saturday has a disc golf tournament grand opening. So hopefully people will think to ride the Hopper to events. And then, of course, the ones in Murphy's, Grape Stomp coming up October 1st. And in Angels Camp, the Mark Twain Wild West Fest on the October 15th. So the Saturday Hopper will serve that, and it will also provide a shuttle between the parking areas at the fairgrounds and the high school, Red Hart. So everybody should come out and ride the Hopper. It's kind of fun. I went this last week into Murphy's to the Pride in the Park, which was a pretty good event. And I went around to the various establishments in Murphy's and talked up the program. So hope to see that getting going. Working on the bus shelter projects that PTMI SEA funded, 6 bus shelters. Moving along, working on the MOU with the Judicial Council of California for installing a bus shelter at the courthouse here in the Government Center. They almost put one in when they first built the thing, but then I guess they did the pull-out. So the pull-out's going to need a little bit of adjustment to get that ADA compliance. We'll install the shelter there. We have bus shelters up for adoption. If anybody knows of any community events, just to help control the litter that occurs at the bus shelters. The one in front of Treats has been adopted by ARC and what's the other group, Amber? Help me.
Creative Support Alternatives, or is it Mary Ellen's group?
Mary Ellen's group.
Yeah, Creative Support Alternatives.
Creative Support Alternatives. So they have there's a little flyer there applauding them for their efforts there, and that one, it has been kept clean, and I'm sure that helps keep Treats happy. The one at Post Office gets pretty nasty. So be happy if anybody likes to come forward and adopt those. We'll be having more shelters. And I know that was a concern of Red Hart High School, the one there. So maybe one of the student groups would like to adopt that one. Working on schedule adjustments, and I'll have more to talk about next meeting, more specific, something to share on that. But in general, anybody have any transit questions or concerns?
On our Saturday bus service, I know we've only been in operation 7 weeks. Do we have any numbers? Are they increasing or?
No, it's been kind of staggered. I made a little graph. I can tell you, right off the 7 weeks, 20, 26, 20, 18, 17, 11, 24. So we've had an average of 20 passengers. But I had anticipated, at least 4, 5, 6 on each bus, and there's 10 a day, 10 each Saturday. 5 one way, 5 the other way.
Okay, are we doing anything to promote that website?
Website and Facebook pages, and I'm getting an ad made to put in bus windows big Saturday hopper right bus with us, and I'm open to ideas. Have a little bit of a marketing budget for that, not a lot. Cruise just installed a bus stop sign in the Black Bart Players parking lot that has the schedule on it. And boy, that is a busy parking lot on Saturdays.
And do we have a program to assess this service after a certain period of time?
Well, yeah, it's funded for just this fiscal year. It's a total of 46 Saturdays, and but yeah, pretty soon we'll be talking about what to do with next year's low carbon transit operations program funding. We don't know yet how much it's going to be. I saw something that in spite of the auctions not being very successful, that there will be more. So we'll see.
Okay.
They were supposed to come out with those numbers last week, but we haven't seen them yet. But we can talk about whether to... Oh, yes. One of the ideas about local features that the Saturday bus can bring to is museums. We have 3 museums that the hopper can get to, the one in San Andreas, Angels Camp, and the Old Timers Museum in Murphy's. So we did a little bit of a Facebook promotion on that, and I think somebody's going to organize a group outing with a little bit of fanfare and see what we can do for that. There's a lot of things that people can do that's on that route. It's just a matter of getting the people together and making sure that the lodgings are all giving out that information. Been bringing flyers to the different motels in the county. And World Market is supposed to be giving out the flyers to every guest. But we still aren't going through their property. We haven't executed an agreement to go through. So we've been driving through Greenhorn Creek, but we are getting passengers from Greenhorn.
Okay.
Go wine tasting.
Deborah, regarding the numbers, there's a fiscal year 15-16 that's due to the COG on the 19th. Are we on track to get that?
We're on track, yeah. I can't give you any previews of that at this time.
Just making sure we'll see you next month then.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have the city report, Mr. Hanham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dave Hannum, City of Angels Planning Director. I just have a few items. One is that the city's moving forward with our relinquishment agreement with Caltrans. We'll hopefully have an agreement with them in the middle part of the month to take a look at least a draft, and hopefully get to our council next month. So we're moving forward on that. Angels Creek Trail, our contractor is in the process of an audit because of the project's cost. They've got to do an individual audit because it's over $1 million. So I'm waiting to get that back so that I can take that contract and finalize it and get that to our council. Murphy's Grade Road and the 4 and 49 improvement. We've been working with COG on those 2 projects and looking at, because the city has decided that we were going to go out for contract, and so we're looking at potentially combining those in a sense and maximizing all the dollars that we have for those projects for design and for the PE portions, the design, environmental, get some more bang for our buck. And we're working with SJ COG staff, and Amanda doesn't know too much about this because she's going to be getting it in her next staff report with the whole picture here. So because it's kind of a work in progress right now, but things are starting to come together very nicely, and I'll hopefully be able to report to our council at our next meeting where we're at and where we're going and moving forward with those 2 projects at the same time. And those 2 projects are critical. Murphy's Grade Road, of course, is one of the biggest intersections in the county, as well as the 4 and 49 and the improvements to 4 and 49 to look at those improvements to kind of alleviate issues at that intersection. So we're forward with that. The sustainability grant, the city's moving forward. We've got our advisory meeting coming up, and yes, Amber, the 20th is okay. So we have that. So we'll be meeting with that, and then going out to the public again for the next round comments from the public in a public meeting and all that. So that's all coming up here in the next month or so. So with that, unless there's any questions regarding any of my projects or any questions of the city, I'd be happy to answer. Council? No? No? Thank you. All right, thanks.
Mr. Baker, Caltrans.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Carl Baker with Caltrans. Just a couple items this month. One, we wanted to bring attention to SB X1-1. That's the latest version of the legislative funding package being proposed. It's Fraser and Bell. It's not that different from the previous years. There are tweaks, but the general emphasis is the same. There's some funding, there's some reforms, there's some streamlining. So it's been reworked again, and we'll see how that goes this time around. We had an inquiry about the work on State Route 4 last meeting. Folks probably noticed that they're waiting in line on State Route 4 now, so that project is ongoing and seems to be going well, regardless of how long you have to wait in line to get through it. Then the last item I had, the Caltrans has released the call for the transportation planning grants for next year. These are the same grants that we used for the 4 and 49 Gateway and the city Main Streets grant that Dave just talked about, and also the San Andreas grant. So the deadline for that is November 4th. They made some changes to the timing. They made some minor changes to the application. Essentially, the timing changes were to try to move the deadlines up a little bit so that if you were to have one granted, you would know in time to get it into your draft OWP in the spring and hopefully be able to get that going earlier in the following fiscal year. Besides that, any questions? Okay.
I have a question. I've had, in the last year and so many months, more than one person come up to me and request speed studies on the highways. Mm-hmm. Now, every time I think I have it solved, it kind of disappears and nothing ever happens. Today, I had a long talk with a constituent from District 1, actually. The area around Burson, there are two churches there that have very healthy attendees on for their activities on a regular basis. There's a restaurant, and if you've ever, like I do, come out at Burson Road there and try to take a left or a right, you're really entering into a NASCAR event when you do that to make sure that you survive it. And the other, the one that's in District 5 and District 1, actually, that I've brought up before, and if anything's ever been done about it, I don't seem to see it. Really all the way from Valley Springs at the four-way, all the way to the Jenny Lynn turnoff where the fire station is at. There are so many entrances from the residential areas there. I get constant critiques from people about the speed zones there and the accidents they have. And there are also a number of blind spots where, I come onto the highway regularly at Olive Orchard Road, and at that particular part, there's a great blind spot both ways, and especially in the morning when commuters seem to have the caffeine on, it's really harrowing at times. And I don't know if you can help me. You're going to be about the third or fourth resource that I've leaned on to get some help in it, but I'd sure appreciate it if we could look at those two areas.
So I can report these to traffic safety, and they can look at them. If they want something from the county, we can let Public Works know and follow up on that. Be aware the speed studies are always based on the existing speeds, so we have to follow the rules on that, and that's set in the Streets and Highways Code, or the Vehicle Code. But certainly I can report those and follow up on it for you. The other item that I should have reported on that you just mentioned Burson and brought it to mind. Supervisor Edson has been following up on the Beacons project at the intersection, and that project, the first time it was listed, listed for bids, there were no bids. It was relisted. There were 2 bids, and as of yesterday, Caltrans had sent out essentially the acceptance of the bid, and the contractor has to return that, so we're waiting for them to return that. But all indications are that should be going to construction pretty soon.
How about the stoplight at Vista Del Lago? It seems like every time I inquire, it's a new date. And I want to thank you for getting back to me on that. You have kept me in the loop on it. It'd be nice if we can get a firm date on that, because I do have people asking. And also, if you can keep me in the loop on anything you hear about the speed studies, I sure appreciate it, because I'm hearing about it regularly. There's when you do the speed study on Highway 26, we have a problem stretch of Berkesee, which runs parallel to 26. I have heard about it numerous times, and it seems to be a bit of a indecision on which law enforcement agency has the first call on it, so to speak. So I'm getting that the CHP actually governs that stretch, and if they do, if there's anything that Caltrans can do to help there. I have residents who actually have caught with their security cameras people speeding down there and knocking out mailboxes, and it's truly a residential area where children play, etc. So
Yeah, so you're saying on 26, but along that stretch?
yeah, it's right. It's
Yeah.
about 3 to 4 miles outside of Valley Springs.
By Silver
There's a
Rapids.
road called Berkesee, and
Yeah.
it's a real straight shot that runs parallel. Often when there are accidents on 26, they'll divert onto Berkesee. And I don't think that those moments when they're diverting are the issues. I think it's literally just become a drag strip at times. And what I'm understanding is that the CHP actually has the first governance for the speeders on it. So I may be wrong. It's been a confusing puzzle for me to try to work out.
So I will follow up with that. On the blind spots, any more specific information that I can get on that, specific locations that we want to look at, that will help considerably. Essentially, if I just go and say, well, there's blind spots on 26 on this stretch, they'll want to know what we're looking at. So
Okay, and I
we might
sure
need to
understand.
follow up on that with some mapping.
If you can you tag me on your email so I can talk back to you on
Yeah,
that, and I'll let
yeah.
you know.
Okay, good.
That I really appreciate the help. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
My comment on that?
Absolutely.
Is the sheriff aware of that? Can they issue tickets?
Berkesee?
Just post up over there or something?
On Berkesee, or you mean the blind spots?
Either or, any of those places where you say that there's a lot of
Berkesee,
excessive speeding.
yeah, I'm working with them, and I'm hearing that it's the CHP that actually sets the tone. Mike's shaking his head, he's a cop, so,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, traffic-related issues like that in the county are usually directed towards the state traffic officers, CHP. Although the sheriff department does have the authority to issue citations for traffic violations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, if I just might add on Carl's announcement for the grant application guide, we have reached out to city and county staff and notified them of the opportunity. Calaveras COG has historically been very good at competing for these grant funds, so I would encourage all of you, if you have priority planning projects, to reach out to us so that I could work with city and county staff in prioritizing those for the most competitive applications. So if you do have any projects that you're thinking about in your jurisdictions, give us a call. We're reaching out to people now based on conversations and projects that we've been considering throughout the year. So it's a good time to get your planning projects on the table. So that's all.
Item number 17, council reports.
We're going to do the lighted parade again for Thanksgiving in White Pines.
Okay.
Nothing to report. I apologize for being late.
Better late than never was.
Anything from our...
In West Point, this weekend there's a bocce ball tournament at the community garden. And also October 1st, we have the Lumberjack Day parade up there.
Anything, Mr. Oliver?
We had several activities this past weekend. Labor Day, had our logging jamboree, very successful, and our, hope I get this right, peddlers and blank event where we had a lot of crafts and things on display. It's a yearly event. A lot of folks up in District 3 enjoyed their company and their revenue, and our revenues, so it worked out very well. I did, and in fact, I don't know if Caltrans is still in the room. Yes, they are. I don't know if you have information on this, but on the tree mortality issues, I understand Caltrans is really involved in Tuolumne County, and they're looking at Calaveras County in the very, very near future. Do you have information on that?
Yikes.
I didn't do that.
I've been called a lot of things before, but the tree mortality is a big issue with the state. There's a governor's executive order essentially authorizing funding to Caltrans, to CAL FIRE, to number one, work with the local agencies and all the local stakeholders. So yes, we are working on 108 and 120 corridors in Tuolumne. Essentially it's been assigned to maintenance, and I have a contact in maintenance that I can put you in touch with. Might be the best bet for, I don't want to talk about the stuff that I'm not directly involved in, but essentially, yes, we're working, we have money that's dedicated to addressing the trees that threaten the state highway. And so it's a long process. They have to work with all the property owners to get rights of entry if there's trees on private property that still are close enough to the highway. And they also have to address, the governor exempted it from CEQA, but then there are a number of other separate species and other cultural requirements that they have to meet as they do these projects. So essentially they move up the highway and kind of clear pieces as they go up to keep the thing moving. So exactly the details of where they're at with Calaveras County, I don't know, but I can forward it to the contact for that.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carlin, we might look at an opportunity to try to get regular updates to Supervisor Oliveira on Caltrans' work so that he can keep property owners and his constituents informed of what the next steps are. I think that would be good too.
Okay. Thank you.
It's my turn, Chair.
It is your turn.
Since Carl's standing up there,
I'm not touching that microphone.
I didn't give you a very good answer to Mr. Catalano's question. Yes, the sheriff is aware of that issue on Berkesee, and they've been working very well with me to try to figure it out. But what I need is, I need someone just to flat out lower the speed limit with signs on a regular basis. I threatened to go there in the middle of the night with a postal digger and put my own signs up, but my writing with an L marker wasn't good enough, so they didn't want to take that. But I'm hoping to get actual studies. So the lesson is if you learn from what this is going through, maybe he can tell us how to go right to the top and figure this out for the future, because I've been struggling with this for over a year. Sorry I didn't give you a better answer.
Oh, that's okay. When I did a traffic study on 1226, the engineer told me that because the speed limit's set, that's basically what it is. I think you were saying something of the code, the highway codes, that it can't be changed.
The process is to measure the existing speeds on the road.
Which can backfire.
And so you can actually request a speed study and have the speed limit go up, because the speed limit is set at 85 percentile of the existing speeds. The way the code is written, essentially, it's addressing speed traps, so that you can't just throw a 25 zone out there on the highway somewhere and write people tickets. It has to be addressed to the existing conditions. So it can be, it's a difficult process. But certainly conditions change, like you say, as more development goes in over the years. There may very well be good reasons to do a new study because that needs to be addressed.
And I'm going to back you up on that, because when I asked, I can't remember her name, but a ranking member of our local CHP, the very same question, she says, well, yeah, we can ask for that, but
Be careful.
be aware, you may have to lower it, and actually they can decide that it goes up. So
Anytime, that happened to us.
be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the way it's said. Thanks for letting me
Okay.
correct my question,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Okay. I have no reports, so we'll move on to staff reports.
I'd like to turn it over to Amber Collins, who has updates on 2 community events that we'll be hosting.
Sure, you mean council. The first flyer we have for you is, and then followed up by a fact sheet on our regional transportation plan, which we're getting kind of kicked off here. And the RTP is the COG's main transportation plan, updated every 4 years. And it looks out a 20-year period of transportation projects and needs. And then we develop kind of a constrained project list. So it's an important plan for the COG. And our first public workshop will be October 4th at 5:30 here in San Andreas at the town hall. And included a little 2-page fact sheet for you with information on what the RTP schedule is, how to get involved. We have a website for the RTP. It's calaverisrtp.com. I'm trying to make it simple. And then we have a survey out right now as well, and there's a link to that it's online. If anybody has any questions on the RTP update at this time.
Council.
All right, and then the next flyer we included is our San Andreas annual community health walk, which is this September 29th, which is a Thursday. It's from 11 to 1, so we try to organize it around lunchtime, try to get the county government employees and hospital and CalWorks involved, during their lunch break. This year we kind of put together a little incentive trophy to get the county employees a little bit excited or involved. We just put an old shoe on a plaque. We're not really sure what it means, but I think we're just trying to get some excitement about it, and we're going to give this to the department that has the most percentage participation in the walk. So I don't know, bringing walking back into fashion. I'm not really sure what that the boot means, but just trying to make it fun for everybody. So if you'd like to encourage your departments to get involved, that'd be great. I think we're going to show up to the County Board of Supervisor meeting that week to kind of announce the challenge.
To challenge Supervisor Edson with our pink tennis shoe to a race.
But that's all I have.
Okay. Anything, Ms. King? Okay. We have a nice, quick, and easy meeting this evening. The next scheduled meeting of the COG is October 5th at 5:30 here. I would like to adjourn our meeting.